Whatsoever you do to the least of my people, that you do unto me.
I'm Bishop William Byrne. The annual Catholic Appeal is our chance to help those in need, the homeless, the hungry, and our partnering organization. Please join me in answering Jesus' call to love your neighbor by donating at diospringfield.org.
That you do unto me.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel, the annual Catholic Appeal kicks off its 2026 campaign at Lorraine's Soup Kitchen and Pantry in Chicopee with the theme, Love Your Neighbor as Yourself. We'll bring you there.
Checking in on our retired priests who are not exactly retired. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have this story coming up.
And I'm Steve Kiltonic. The Pope Francis girls hockey team finishes the regular season on a strong note heading into the state playoffs.
It's all just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. This week, Catholics throughout the world began to celebrate the season of Lent. With Ash Wednesday, we start the 40-day period of fasting, prayer, penance, and almsgiving. During the 12:10 Mass at St. Michael's Cathedral, Springfield Bishop William Byrne reminded those in attendance of the meaning of this day.
So we enter into Lent, 40 days, just as Jesus entered into the desert for 40 days. But for us, it's a time of preparing for the celebration of the resurrection. And we do that by acts of penance, giving something up, by acts of almsgiving, meaning something special to help the poor, and also deepening our prayer during this season. And each of these have the focus of making room, more room in our hearts and in our lives for Jesus. The whole reason of this season is about Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ as Lord of our lives. Jesus, the risen one, whom we will celebrate at Easter.
Last week also launched the annual Catholic Appeal of the Diocese of Springfield. The annual campaign helps support educational, pastoral, and social ministries across the 4 counties of Western Massachusetts that are the Diocese of Springfield.
Also, we've got awesome kids.
Surrounded by students from St. Stanislaus and St. Joan of Arc schools in Chicopee, along with staff and supporters from Lorraine's Soup Kitchen and Pantry, Bishop William Byrne introduced the Diocese of Springfield's 2026 Annual Catholic Appeal February 10th.
Well, I'm just very excited to be here to launch this year's annual Catholic Appeal.
The ACA supports more than 40 community-based agencies, ministries, and services right here in Western Massachusetts. Christine Payman, the newly appointed manager of the appeal, says the theme is a call to action.
The theme this year is love your neighbor as yourself. And this is so important because the world is angry and it feels just so angry. And it's just, if you take that minute and just step back and just appreciate that you're helping somebody who may get looked over because they don't look the same as what we're used to or what we think is reasonable. So we want to make sure that everybody knows that they're loved, and that's the basis of our Catholicism, is that we want to love our neighbor as ourselves.
Bishop Byrne is asking Catholics in Western Massachusetts to support the appeal through prayer, sacrificial giving, and service. This year's fundraising goal is $3 million.
And I'm confident. Our people are so generous, and so people respond, and I'm confident that they will, because the needs are so great, and we have such a great opportunity to meet those needs as a people of faith.
Kim Case, Executive Director of Lorraine's Soup Kitchen and Pantry, host of the event, says the Chicopee agency has the same mission of serving neighbors in need.
We are here to serve everyone with respect and dignity. We don't turn anyone away.
For more than 40 years now, the organization has provided a daily hot meal to Chicopee residents, along with pantry services. Lorraine's also offers Christmas meals, a mobile food pantry, free monthly health clinics, and regular social services. Funding from the ACA is appreciated, says Case. Lorraine's served more than 50,000 people last year.
Well, it's very important, and it's been going on for years that we've been generously getting donations from the annual Catholic Appeal, because that helps us to purchase much needed food that we need to fill our shelves.
Vincent McDaniel, who is in grade 8 at St. Joan of Arc School in Chicopee, volunteers at Lorraine's Kitchen every week with his father.
It's important because people need to know that it's not all about themselves, and there are people out there that really struggle, and they don't have everything that the fortunate of us have. So we need to volunteer our time or our money or something to give back to the people who have less.
The largest portion of ACA funding goes to Catholic education by way of financial support for students in the 14 elementary and secondary schools in the diocese. The ACA was first launched in 1959 to support educational, pastoral, and social ministries across the 4 counties of western Massachusetts. And for more information on the annual Catholic Appeal, including a link to make your donation, head over to diospringfield.org/ACA. And our Reel to Reel program is a beneficiary of your generosity. So on behalf of all of us at Catholic Communications, we thank you so much for your ongoing support. At the Last Supper, Jesus instituted the priesthood. The men who take up this lifelong vocation often work well into their retirement years, continuing to serve the church. Carolee McGrath sat down with 4 retired priests from the Diocese of Springfield to hear what they've been up to, and as she learned, they certainly have been busy.
On a Sunday last fall, Father Ken Tatro celebrated the 9:30 Mass at St. Cecilia's in Wilbraham. During the homily, he called the children up onto the altar. Filling in for the pastor, Father James Nolte, Father Tatro wanted to make sure he did things the way Father Nolte did, allowing the children to be engaged during Mass. And they were, as he interacted with them, relaying the gospel message.
That little story I'd like to share with you this morning.
Father Tatro, who was the pastor at St. Thomas the Apostle Parish in West Springfield for 13 years, is retired. But you wouldn't know it if you attended that November Mass in Wilbraham.
I celebrate Mass up at Providence Place every week. And for the most part, I've been helping out at St. Cecilia's in Wilbraham. I take the daily Thursday Mass, and I'm also available on weekends there.
Because the guy next to you retired, right?
Well, that's the rumor.
Father Tatro started filling in at St. Cecilia's last summer after his brother priest, Father John Connors, retired as pastor of St. Cecilia's, and before Father Nolte was named as the new pastor.
When you retire, you're thinking of these grandiose times that you're going to be able to have, but most of it, hits the road pretty quick, because there are people out there who would like help and need help for celebrating Mass, for doing the sacraments, just for being in and around another face to bounce things off. And so it's good and it's positive, and it keeps me busy, and I'm sure it keeps my brother priest busy also.
Father John Connors, who retired in June, is still quite busy himself. You were supposed to be retired, but I'm hearing that that's not the case.
Well, I'm working at celebrating Mass at Mary's Meadow 3 times a week, so it keeps me active.
Father Connors also helps out at Pope Francis Prep in Springfield for events as well.
Jesus said to his disciples,
Father Timothy Campoli, who is also retired, was the longtime pastor at Blessed Sacrament in Greenfield and later Holy Trinity Parish in Greenfield. They now comprise the Blessed Trinity Catholic community. Father Campoli, who just came back from hip surgery, celebrates Mass each Sunday at St. Mark's in Conway.
Shortly after I retired, they asked me if I would cover the pastor down in South Deerfield, if I would cover up in Conway, because the Mass is at 9 o'clock in the morning and he had the 2 Masses there. So I've been up there since then. I've been there for 3 years now. I've been covering Conway. Nice little parish, wonderful people, and I enjoy going up there at 9 o'clock Sunday morning.
Monsignor Ronald Yargeau was the pastor of Holy Trinity Parish in Greenfield.
I remember when I retired at my last Mass, Archbishop Brzezinski was here with us. And he said to the congregation, I want you to know, he thinks he's going into hibernation. Let me tell you, he is not hibernating, And retirement for a priest is all about being active.
Monsignor Yargeau celebrates Mass Thursdays at Holy Trinity in Greenfield.
Oftentimes we're the ones who also get calls for the hospital, the emergency room, for the nursing home. And Father Campoli also still maintains coverage at the jail in Franklin County. So we do keep busy, and today having a conversation with some of our other retired priests, I think we're all very happy if our health allows us to be able to keep our finger in the pot.
One of the goals of the Beacon of Faith campaign is to support our retired priests. A fund has been set up to support their pensions and to help pay for unforeseen medical costs. There are 42 retired priests in the Diocese of Springfield. Out of the 79 priests in active ministry, 14 are eligible for retirement. There are 5 men currently in the seminary, with efforts underway to encourage more vocations to the priesthood. Father Connors, who served in the U.S. Marine Corps, says sometimes God's call comes as a whisper. What is something, if you were to tell like a young man who's considering the seminary, what would you tell them about your ministry and your decision to become a priest?
Yes, and of course I made a decision when I was older, so that's open for them as well. But certainly being called to priesthood has been the greatest blessing in my life. I certainly have enjoyed ministry. There's also challenges in ministry like anything else. But no, I've really loved being a priest, and even in retirement, to be able to reach out to some people and help some of my fellow priests has been a great blessing for me.
And his former parishioners would agree, Father Connors has been a blessing to them. And so these retired priests say they'll continue to serve as long as they're able to. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
God bless all of our retired priests. They have worked so faithfully all of these years and still continue to shine their light through their prayers and service in our parishes. And still to come on Reel to Reel, Kathy Harrington will preview the upcoming annual Lenten lecture series at Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Westfield. And Steve Kiltonick takes us to the rink as we learn how the Pope Francis girls hockey team was inspired by the U.S. Women's Olympic team. It's all still ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel. The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. Take time out of your busy day and join us this Sunday morning at the earlier time of 6 a.m. We will welcome Father Daniel Pekalik to mark the first Sunday of Lent and to preview his parish's upcoming Lenten series on hope. The Chalice of Salvation, this Sunday at the earlier time of 6 a.m., right here on 22 News, WWLP.
Whatsoever you do to the least of my people, that you do unto me.
I'm Bishop William Byrne. The annual Catholic Appeal is our chance to help those in need, the homeless, the hungry, and our partnering organization. Please join me in answering Jesus' call to love your neighbor by donating at diospringfield.org.
That you do unto me.
Ask and you shall receive. Words from the Gospel of Matthew. Some prayers of hope can be desperate, seeking a miracle or a cure. Yet no matter what is asked of God, prayers will be answered according to his plan. This year's Lenten series at Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Westfield is called Hope Lives, covering miracles, healing, prayers to life, even when death is near. Kathy Harrington gives us a preview.
Hope lives because Jesus lives.
In the cold, snowy, dark winter days, as the cost of heating our homes escalates and more of our neighbors face food insecurity, a Lenten reminder that hope lives.
The fact that whatever happens in our lives, whatever ways, if we are blessed by a miracle, but if we're not, to truly understand that hope always lives in Christ.
Expressing hope in our prayers to the Lord, we believe that God will answer them. Week 1, Hope Lives, even in unanswered prayers. Meet Maria Middleton and remember her name. This 18-year-old girl had a special friendship with God that started during Eucharistic adoration with her mom when she was just a toddler.
Although I was there trying to be faithful and spend time with our Lord, I probably was unaware of the deep relationship that had started in front of the Blessed Sacrament between Maria and our Lord.
Mm-hmm. Maria's message is that our hope is anchored in Jesus. Her parents, Susan and Brian Middleton, join us on February 25th to share how, with a diagnosis of terminal brain cancer, Maria accepted the dramatic change in her plan so that she could live God's plan for her life.
Maria immediately transferred. When what was known offered her no hope, she immediately transferred to finding hope in the infinite unknowable of God, that her hope was going to be found in the Lord.
Week 2, Hope in Miracles.
Just a regular guy, that does regular things. But I was lucky enough to be the beneficiary of what I consider a miracle.
Meet Artie Boyle, who was diagnosed with kidney cancer that had spread to his lung and given 6 months to live. His friends took him to Medjugorje in the Balkans, where Marian apparitions have been reported. Back home, doctors at Mass General discovered the cancer was gone. Boyle shares his story of hope and inspiration on March 4th. Week 3, Hope Lives Beyond Death. Stephen Hawking, actor Eric Dane, and baseball legend Lou Gehrig, some of the famous faces of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. Add to that list Eric Roy, custodian at Southampton Road School in Westfield, and drummer for Blue Devil Blues Band. A year after his mom died from ALS, Roy got his diagnosis.
Today was actually a warm day. It was like 48 degrees, which is like summer right now for us.
With a positive outlook and a growing faith, he lost the use of his legs, arms, and even his voice. Join us as we learn about this courageous and inspirational young man from the army of people who helped to keep him living as he was dying. That's Wednesday, March 11th. Hope Lives in the Lord's Healing is week 4 of our series. Father Justin Torres celebrates Mass at 6:30 p.m., followed by a healing service with the laying of the tilma of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Arrive early. Confessions will be available beginning at 5:30 p.m.
It's really a total surrender to God, and through the intercession of the Virgin of Guadalupe that really hit the hearts of so many people. The gesture of putting the tilma to people. Mm. It's like people are experiencing a holy embrace.
You're invited to come for reconciliation, Mass, and a healing service on March 18th. Hope lives in the future of the Church.
What did you think of Seek?
This was my first Seek, and I just thought it was so powerful and honestly life-changing.
Back home and on fire with their faith. On March 25th, you'll learn what the 26,000 college students and young adults experienced at Seek. This year, Pope Leo sent a video message to encourage them to be open to the Lord's plan for them. Talking about their experience is part of that plan. Join us that night as we close the evening with Eucharistic adoration. You're invited to Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Church on the Wednesday evenings of Lent. In Westfield, I'm Kathy Harrington for Reel to Reel.
And now a look at some events coming up in the Diocese of Springfield. On Saturday, February 28th, the Shrine of Divine Mercy in Stockbridge will host a veneration of 9 unique and rarely seen relics of the Passion of the Lord. In collaboration with the Apostolate for Holy Relics, the event will take place in the St. Faustina Center from 10:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. The shrine is located at 11 Pine Street in Stockbridge. For more information, visit shrineofdivinemercy.org or call 413-298-3931. The The Ancient Order of Hibernians will host their annual Irish Night next Saturday, February 28th, at the Log Cabin in Holyoke. The evening will be filled with traditional Irish fare, music, dancing, and a corned beef dinner, along with a large assortment of raffles, and the Ladies' Ancient Order of Hibernians Irish soda breads will be available as well. Doors open at 5 p.m. Tickets are $50. To purchase, call Joe O'Connor at 413-627-7148 or Fran Hennessy at 413-785-5687 by February 24th. And St. Jerome Parish in Holyoke is hosting a novena to St. Patrick from March 9th to the 17th. The weekday novena masses will be celebrated at 12:15 p.m. and the Saturday novena mass will be held at 4 p.m. The Sunday mass will be celebrated at 8 a.m. Springfield Bishop William Byrne and 8 other diocesan priests will each celebrate one of the novena masses. All are welcome to attend. For more information, call the parish office at 413-532-6381. And for a complete listing of events in the Diocese of Springfield, visit diospringfield.org.
Whatsoever you do to the least of my people, that you do unto me.
I'm Bishop William Byrne. The annual Catholic Appeal is our chance to help those in need, the homeless, the hungry, and our partnering organization. Please join me in answering Jesus' call to love your neighbor by donating at diospringfield.org.
That you do unto me.
The Pope Francis Prep girls hockey team was looking to enter the upcoming MIAA Division I state tournament on a high note. And the players received some inspiration from the United States women's Olympic hockey team, who made a dominant run to the gold medal game. Steve Kiltonic attended a recent Cardinals game and spoke to the coach and players about the season and their own Olympic dreams.
On February 14th, the Pope Francis Prep girls hockey team, with a record of 8 wins, 8 losses, and 2 ties, took to the ice against North Andover to try and get over the 500 mark. The Scarlet Knights entered the match with 13 wins, only 2 losses, and a number 6 ranking in Division I. It was expected to be a tough, physical contest, and the teams didn't disappoint. Ava Maltenbray and Natalia Elson are the senior co-captains for the Cardinals. Elson, unfortunately, had to sit out this year with an injury. Both started playing hockey at a young age, and have seen girls hockey grow to where it now competes and often exceeds the boys' level, like in the Olympics. Since 1998, the U.S. women's hockey team has medaled in every Olympics, with 3 gold, 5 silver, and 1 bronze, versus the men, who have only 2 silvers over the same period.
When I was younger, there weren't really teams that were all girls, so we had to play with boys, and there were those sexist comments now and then, and it kind of did get in your head. But to see how far we've come, and there are some really great girls programs out there. We've come a long way, and I'm really proud of us for that.
I started off at Holy Name. I mean, there was only a couple girls on my team, and now I volunteer at Learn to Skate, and watching there's so many girls now stepping on the ice, and I mean just watching it, like Natalia said, grow as a community and become more normalized. It's good to see.
Chris Connors has been coach of the girls program since its inaugural season 6 years ago during the tail end of COVID.
We have 13 players to start this program, and our program, some years it's grown in leaps and bounds up close to 35 players. So we have both the varsity and a JV team.
Before arriving at Pope Francis, Connors coached boys teams in the Boston area. As someone who's coached both sides, Connors says girls are just as intense as the boys.
Our girls, they compete each and every single day. They show up at the rink. They strive to be better. They always give it 110%. And it's all about that family inside that locker room. They're so close-knit. It's amazing to see.
Both teams battled from the opening face-off. The Scarlet Knights took the early lead in the first on this goal, but Pope came back in the second to tie on a goal by freshman forward Adeline Murray, the team's top scorer this season. Sophomore goalie Avery Savage was also terrific in net, with 30 saves in the game to keep it even entering the third period. When not on the ice, some of the Cardinals had their eyes on the Olympics, and the U.S. women's team went it as the favorite to capture gold. They dominated the tournament, heading into the final against arch-rival Canada, a team the U.S. shot out earlier. Savage, fellow goalie Aaliyah Rosenblum, and others feel the Olympic team has helped girls their age and younger become motivated to achieve success. U.S. goalie Erin Franco is one of their favorite Olympians to watch.
Yeah, it inspires me more because I have some friends on the under-18 team, so it inspires me to always do better and try and reach that level.
Yeah, it's just really good to see women's sports getting that far, and I think it just pushes me to do better too, just because I know that other women have been able to do something that has been took a while for people to get there to that level.
I think watching them play and how they just work all together, it's like a role model almost. It makes it seem like it is possible. Even if it seems out of reach, we all can get there if we work hard enough. And yeah, it really does amaze me to watch them play, and to also think about all the younger girls who are looking at us and watching us play. It's amazing, and it really does keep us motivated.
I think every girl on the Olympic team is really inspirational, especially in such a male-dominated sport. It's just good representation.
They're remarkable, special athletes, especially to get to that level. What they're doing is so impressive.
A few years back, girls in Western Mass were proud of one of their own who made the Olympic team. Westfield native Casey Bellamy was a 3-time Olympian who played on the 2018 gold medal squad. In the third period, North Andover took the lead with 2 minutes left in regulation, and it looked like Pope might be headed for defeat. After a timeout, the Cardinals regrouped, pulled Savage, and tied the game in dramatic fashion when sophomore Sophia Larson scored with only 24 seconds left. After a 5-minute extra period, it ended as a 2-2 tie, but it seemed like a win for Pope.
I think we have a really good shot at making it far in the state tournament. When we all work together as a team and passes are connecting and the chemistry is flowing, I think we can beat anybody.
Connor's goal each year is the same: qualify for the state tournament, and with a little luck, advance to the Boston Garden for the finals.
I think this year's group, especially over the last week or two, they've shown the resiliency and grit, what it takes to win, especially that first round tournament game.
With 3 wins and 2 ties this past week, Pope looks to advance past the round of 16 and go further than the Cardinals have ever gone in the tournament. As for the Olympics, the U.S. women beat Canada 2-1 in a thrilling overtime rematch for their 3rd gold medal. They leave behind quite a legacy for future Olympians to replicate. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonick.
Best of luck to the Pope Francis girls hockey team as they begin the Division I tournament. We will keep you posted on how the team fares as they look to achieve the same success as the U.S. Women's Olympians. And for this week, that's Real to Real. Be sure to follow the latest news of the Catholic Church both here in Western Massachusetts and around the world on our news and information website, iobserve.org. There you'll find articles prepared by our Catholic Communications reporting team and our partners at Our Sunday Visitor. That's iobserve.org. We are also on Facebook, and you can follow us there at Catholic Communications. And viewers of the Chalice of Salvation, just a reminder that Chalice will air at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning to make room for Olympic coverage. Chalice will return to its regular time next weekend, March 1st. And I will see you at the same time next week for another edition of Real to Real, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.